And thank you very much for your participation. Thank you, Tashi Delis. Thank you. Before we begin our sessions, we do again about 5 minute meditation, silence meditation. Then we started our opening prayer booklet. I will go with page by page. Okay. Thank you everyone again. Thank you everyone again. Welcome. Thank you. And we followed this opening prayer booklet. You have this green booklet, or the 7-line prayer. Anyone has 7-line prayer and the lineage prayers. According to this booklet, page 14. The opening prayer booklet is page 14, or the 7-line prayer. Page 20 of this booklet, page 20, lineage prayer. Samad Badra, Vajar Sato, Promo Vajar, Shri Singha, Pemakara, the 25 kings and the subject, Soro, Nya, 130 and others, Lamas with Kama and the Tema lineage tree I pray. In the past, you are the Videdara Nudi Dorjetsa. In the future, you will be doing without time. Now you are the region of the Pema Sambhava, the actual presence of the Domi Lotsawa. Jigrai Hi Dorji, to you I pray. Happy with the little, content in the rich, in the jewel of three trainings, with loving compassion, seeing all beings as parents. Through threefold realization, you met three doors, three Vajra. Virtuous Mom, Pema Sutram, to you I pray. The supreme tradition of the glories of Buddha Pema Sambhava, which is essential extraordinary view in the doctrines of early translation schools. You keep life and spirit the light of the wisdom. Lord Dharma, great Khenpo, I pray to your lotus feet. In the palace, Swami Dharma Dhatu, the essence of the old Buddhas were three times. The one who shows clearly the Dharmakaya of my own mind. We pray to the Honorable Gurus. Glorious root teacher, precious one, dwelling on the lotus seat on the crown of my head, hold me your great kindness, bestow the accomplishment of the body, speak your mind. Chom de nebara durje sambala sansalo bendra sado samaya anabalaya bendra sado denobai de dande do me bawa sukti kayo me bawa sukti chayo me bawa anarakto me bawa sarva siddhi me brai sarva karma sut ame zedam hirya guru hong ha ho bhaga sarva dadanga dam bendra mami manda bendra bawa Samaya Sado, Bendra Sado, Samaya, Manu Balaya, Bendra Sado, Teno. Me bawa isukte kayo me bawa isukte jayo me bawa anarado me bawa sarva siddhi me rayata sarva karma sutta me etam shriya guru hong ha ho bhagat sarva dadanga tam bendra mami mantam bendra bawa samaya sadho bendra sadho samaya manu balaya bendra sadho teno Tirando me bawa isukte kayo me bawa isukte jayo me bawa anarado me bawa sarva siddhi me rayata sarva karma sutta me etam shriya guru hong ha ho bhagat sarva dadanga tam bendra mami mantam bendra bawa samaya sadho om bendra sadho me 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 om bendra sadho me sadho me sadho me sadho me sadho me om bendra sadho hong. Page 24, continue, okay. Soy ye biji, soy ye me do dai, re ling ye nye de jem bande, soy ye gen de me de bro ye, do gan up da gen la, yo barai yo ye dangur, Rena Mendala Kendriya Dayo Me Simjia Namjia Sambadhe Eloye Sebda Jedar Awai Chejong Tomoye Tukbayi Chijiang Korolo Korado
Thus earth anointed with the perfumed water and strews and flowers. The mountain Meru, the four continent ornament with the sun and the moon. By offering the visual light at the Buddha field, may all the sentient beings enjoy the sweet land. Edam Guru Renna Mendal Kainariadayo according to which of sentient beings and their capacities for the high and the low and the common and uncommon. Please turn the wheel of Dharma. Right, Jengrajam Zuchab, according to Bame better Jinkom, Juja, Boden, so well, make your logo on Cuba, Jimbugon, Sound, Salum, Chudoja, and Jilla, Tane the Gagis, and Jupana, Jung Basam, Pajato, and the Lado Manager of Angelo, Joanna, what I'm Sanjila of the Zora, don't go to Jija Jereson, in Jamba of Dijabung Jumba, Serjalum, Boda Rajab, Jajar Vojero, some Dado, or Jim Zoling, Bemedum Bola, Ejer, no, so as they on the Zomra, I've been Majone, Jalo, into you, so she put him in so him of Jesus. Pocanja Bayam Jagade and Carjim, Doyala, and the Jorian or Gwen, Jim, Beijing. Poganda Sahadem Mabara, Jimmy Mamma Dalla Surwa, and the Hanzambala into the Messuim, or you call it in the Hanzambasha Jesse, him Kenji, Surwa, and the others on Jerago, him telling them young Hulu, another went. Pemanyone, Yala Surwa, and the Sanjas and Bachujatan, got it together the Malipo, and other subject. To so they say, Yala Surwa, and the Jugunya Bani, running Cosan Rabas, head them and go to me other Yala Surwa, and I wasn't a kangaroo, as in the Lano of the Henjamu Baja. Rodochijas and Walla Surwa, and they are in Jerry and all on board her party on the yoga, her someone and the road. Rather than Yala Surwa, and they are Jija, the Urji, I think Jajam Jazz, Walla is or one is on Jimin. I don't know what I'm yellow issues are good. General, to me, all the young to was alone in one. You will buy a lot and there's a Dodger, but you all in another room. Some of the other you meet you on Walla Surwa, and they heard Donjam Region, yeah, Gumba Lone, but Dr. James Johnson, I enjoy Mohania, so on the Munzer and the Henry Dorje, the Mao and Dirk, in the great year, Dorjela, and the Mayon Gumba, O young Tobal. Sunny Dembe, Jamsa, Gunda, in Jerea, Dorjela, and the Jimmy and young Zone, Southern Tondo, Bebe. Going Jar, combine Dzogchen, Mother, Yala, Suru, and the Bordesanje, Mare and Loom, Joy, Majadurji, in Yumbu. Sonji Yara, and Haraje, KJ, Yala, Suru, the Yundesanje, Gandana, I got his Sanji, a gunlay, Laway. Savalame, Yala, Suru, and the Dasundo alone, Chula, Ajur, and Elotopa, Jor. Sunja loy to kwe da ju tro ateng tu ye yen ju tro de se don dang dem ba ye je se la me sunja lo lo chu so ndo wa sunja lo chu lam do ndo wa sunja lan tro wa da wa sunja lo tni ye dan ja wa sunja lo do zo ye kan da sab je dong ge yin jik ni no ye der chil homar jer ba kan so Tandro Tombe, Chuje, Chanbe, Sambrandova, Tamje, and Derandu, Loyakadan, Lodan, Trum Dada, Maye, cannot. Dwaka, Dana, Jatsamba, Tamje, the Chudin, Southern Origin, Chiji, and Yartomabong, a shower of Jila. Senina, the Tambanam Jen, and the other, Semjina, Tambanam Jen, Semina, the Danjana, Tamanam Jen to Durdu, Jurakunji, Tambe, Ching, Saja Joba, Okundu, Navra, Sambojova, Nambra, Juaya, Magarba, Kundu, Jibara, Sanjo, Jorumbo, Machi, Bane, Chibahanyam Bahameva, Kone, Kondu, Pivara, Again, thank you very much, everyone. Again, as I said already, your participation. Thank you very much. And your participation. Thank you so much again, making all your joyful effort for the Dharma and arranging the time and participating. It is wonderful. It is beautiful. It is practicing the Dharma. And we are going to discuss the teaching of the gracious teacher Buddha Shakyamuni, lineage masters, according to my capabilities. Someday I hope it will refresh, re-strengthen, or it will be gently reminding of all your beautiful memories of Dharma that you received from many great masters. So that's what really we are doing together. So that means then we are perfectly gathered together as Sangha communities. What in the teaching said, Sangha means supporting to each other, helping to each other, and inspiring to each other according to the capabilities and learn the teaching and moving forward. So in that context, we're doing that. So it's very wonderful and beautiful. And today we're going to do what? Again, I'm going to talk briefly teachings of the great master His Holiness Dudjom Rinpoche, which is teaching of the essence teaching of the Buddha Shakyamuni. And after that, we do the healing practices. Healing practice, there's so many difficulties, troubles going in the world. And it's also not just only the sickness troubles. There's so many emotional troubles. This is an ongoing situation in the samsara. It's not just only now. But throughout the history of the samsara, there is always troubles of these mental problems, as well as psychological problems, and the physical problems that is part of the nature of the samsara. So, but what we can do, one of the best tools to do is really do good activities, dharma, practice, dedicated to have that for all the beings, to our loved ones, our relatives, our friend, family member, and all the country, and beyond all the beings of 6 realms. That is the practicing of dharma, following the footsteps of the bodhicitta. So with this, again, that's what we do today. And again, to do that, always in the teaching, reminded that to all of us is re-strengthen our beautiful motivation of the joy and the appreciations, motivation of the bodhicitta. That's an addition. Motivation of the joy and appreciation is general, more common sense levels. And that is foundation of the Buddha teaching too, essence of the Buddha teaching. Above that, at bodhicitta, and which is extraordinary teaching of the gracious teacher Buddha Shakyamuni. Thinking of all the sentient beings, I'm going to do the practice. I'm going to reflect the teaching. I'm going to studying the teaching and contemplating and meditating and practices. That motivation is so powerful, important. It really, according to the teachings, it will turn the entirely game of our practices. Become so powerful, so strong, so deep, and it reach far beyond that we even maybe not imagine how far it is going. So therefore, activated the bodhicitta. Think of that. And then together with this, purity understanding, purity realization. In the teaching always said, see the purity. Those teachings are known as 3 Vajra status, Vajra body, Vajra speech, Vajra Vajra mind and space, all 5 perfect. That many of you already know those 5 perfect place, perfect teachings, perfect audience, we all at, and perfect time, and as well as teachers. All those, see, that means not just a teacher who I'm speaking, but have to think perfect, but everything perfect, including yourself. That means we're not relying on the world of duality in the dogma status. We are returning back to our original status, original state of the Buddha mind. When we wake up that Buddha mind, and when you look to that own, that everything is in that status, perfect. Perfect teacher, perfect place, perfect teaching, perfect time, and as well as perfect audience. Those are 5 perfects in the teaching state. So either one is we should really think all we are in that perfect status. Kind of having that, opening up those mind is so, in the teaching state, is very important, particularly with the practitioner of Vajrayanas. Vajrayana, we meditated that. We visualize ourselves, which is known as the creation stages. We see entire universe and everything, ourselves transform the deity. That means you become Buddha, or we become the Buddha. That means our own innate nature of the mind, original nature, free from the duality and obscuration, now waked up as it is. So that is, we have to do. Who will do? We have to do. Ourselves. And why we don't start right now? Why waiting? Have to now. With the courage and the commitment, with confidence. That is known as a practicing Dharma. And the Vajrayana teaching often mentioned, when you visualize the deity or creation stages, always have the confidence or Vajra pride. Pride. Vajra pride. Indestructible. That means, what means indestructible? Indestructible from the dualities. Not undermined. Not shaken by the dualities. Doubt and hesitation and skepticalism and all that. Those are obscurations, obstacles. That under those emotions, the negative obscurations, this duality undermined our goals from a long time now. And now we have to have the different. We have to change the chapter. We have to change the right directions to do those. Those are really in the teaching stage. So with those thoughts, and now we follow the teaching of the great teacher, His Holiness Dudjom Rinpoche. His teaching, as I said many times, and you know that, I mean, it's not something I'm talking, is the essence of the teaching of the Buddha Shakyamuni into the practice level. How to practice, how to put the entire teaching of the Buddha. That means that from Buddha gave the teaching age 35 until age 81, or until he entered Mahaparinirvana. Those all teachings really can be summarized into this teaching. It's practical level. Practice. Our meditation practices. And that, as I said the other day, and you all know, entire Buddha teaching can be summarized into 3, which is morality, as well as concentrations and wisdoms. Also in the teaching about how it said, the extraordinary I'm kind of terminated, but the supreme extraordinary morality, extraordinary concentration, extraordinary wisdoms. What that means? Generally, morality, concentration, and wisdom, we all have.
Everyone has generally have that. But this time, not just talking that, something slightly more activated, more intensified. By what? Loving kindness, compassion, thinking of all the living beings. We are going to practicing morality. And thinking of all the beings, we are concentrating, meditating. Thinking of all the living beings, we are seeing things exactly as it should be, or as it is. Seeing. Wisdom means what? Seeing exactly as it is. Nothing underestimated, above estimated. See simple nature, simple truth as it is. No cover up, no making up. Simple, organic, direct, fresh, natural as it. When you see things that, both relative level, absolute level, that is known as wisdoms. Seeing that clearly again with thinking with compassion, or thinking of all beings. So therefore, Buddha's teaching this morality and as well as concentration and wisdom are known as extraordinary moralities, extraordinary concentrations, extraordinary wisdoms. So those are really essence of this teaching is explaining all that. So with this understanding, now what last time we discussed, of course, as said many times, to you that you know all these things, many of you already know this, but again, she says here, say that when you practice generally what we need spiritual support to actualize the practice of Dharma, spiritual support. Those supporters on the teaching what said, support from the physically, support from the mentally. Two support we need. Physical supporters add freedom and 10 luxuries. All those are physical supporters to do the practice Dharma. So that means, and that also, of course, as in the teaching said, is very difficult to obtain. But we got beautiful life. We have 18 endowments. All that. That is a perfect support of the Dharma practices. Physically support. Is this enough? No. We need second. The mental support. Mental support. So before last week what we discussed, we went through those physical support, really that. Now today explaining of this started with the mental supporters. Mental supporters. And that is what here. In this, if we look to this page, here what said, and fifth line, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sixth line. And we went until I think the fifth lines. Then we also discussed the other day, and samsara according the first Buddha's teaching, great teacher Buddha Shakyamuni's first teaching is known as the Four Noble Truth. Four Noble Truth is suffering truth, cause of suffering truths. So those are suffering truth, cause of suffering truth. That is generally, of course, Buddha teaching is very profound and also very simple. First it is very simple, suffering truth, cause of suffering truth. It's very simple, direct. But it's indicating that what we don't want, for example, in samsara, we don't want suffering. No one really likes sufferings unless we are mentally disturbed. But then, since we don't like the suffering, all the sufferings, but we have to be smart to stop the cause of suffering. That is what Buddha is highlighting. This suffering or difficulty, challenge coming in the samsara, not just coming by itself, casually, or somebody else doing, or is just a kind of like is arising. It has cause. It has conditions. If cause and the conditions of the difficulty challenges, even we don't want difficulty challenges, we cannot stop. It really coming. So since we really don't like the difficulty, hardship, and troubles, or sufferings, or fears, F-E-A-R-R, we have to avoid the cause. We have to be smart with the cause. Of course, it didn't mean we should not avoid or trying to stop the suffering or the fears. But at the same time, we look the cause. Cause is then what? Cause of suffering truth. Those are the negative emotions. Negative emotions. It's not somebody else putting us. It is creation of the one's own self, directly or indirectly, according to Buddhism, is one's own creations. Creating that. Unknowingly we create, we're making more cause, more conditions to having more troubles, more difficulties. So those are the cause of suffering truth and cause of suffering truth. Once we know that, then what great teacher Buddha Shakyamuni said, path truth, cessation truth, and path truths. So now this one, sixth line, is path truth. Now we're trying to really eliminate it, or eliminate it to stop the cause of suffering truth. In order to do that, then here, so what said here? Said the trust the three jewels and infallible source of refuge. So that is the beginning to follow the path of truth. Now I said earlier, there's two support we need. First, the physical support to this practice Dharma, and the second is the mental support. What is that mental support? Mental support is our devotions, our interests, our pith, or F-A-I-T-H, pith, whatever terminology we use, that we need. So how that will come? Faith and the devotion, how it will come? In the solid of our ego clinging duality, sometimes it's harder to born or to come that light in our heart. Our heart is always kind of hard, strong, dense, with surrounded by so many those conceptions such as doubt and hesitation and skepticals, analytics, and all those. Really, it's just a completely kind of shield up our mind. How that will come? In the teaching said, the great master Jingbi Lungpa said, this generally, the first is, so many in the teaching said the devotion or the faith is the number one. But how that will develop the faith? In the great master Jingbi Lungpa highlighted this. He said that there's 4 ways that you can develop or light up the devotions. And that is, first is, and having good friend or the spiritual friend. If you're accompanying, associating with the spiritual friend, that is one. Second is, if you contact with some very decent, common sense person, an open mind, that is a second. And the third is, because of those, you begin to reading or open your knowledge and reading the books. Books, different books, variety kind of different books. And fourth is also you may be a little tired and bored of the samsara situations. Bored and tired, the ongoing samsara situations. Those 4 ways it will turn our minds from the regular habit patterns toward spiritual, and it will bring some degree devotions or the faith. So therefore, what in the teaching said, taking refuge is the foundation of the Dharma, but the foundation of the refuge is faith or the devotions. And to have that devotion, as I said, said Great Master Jingmi Longpa, sorry, highlight those four. Accompanying the spiritual friend, contract with the spiritual or teachers, and openly reading the books and seeing the samsara's difficulty and troubles. All those 4 different ways then changed our mind. And so then we take the refuge. To whom we take refuge in Buddhism, then we will associate strongly then to the Buddha Dharma Sangha. Here, Great Master, His Holiness Dudjom Rinpoche said, Choksam. So 3 means 3 supreme ones or 3 jewels, which is then Buddha Dharma Sanghas. And Buddha is perfectly enlightened beings. That means free from all the obscurations and the obstacles and the ego clinging. That is really the Buddha. And that means full of love, compassion, wisdom. So that's the Buddha. And the teaching, but Dharma is message, or the teaching of the Buddha is based upon the, again, truth, loving kindness, compassion, non-violence, and how to bring peace and harmony in our own mind and all to the others. That is really Dharma. And the Sangha is the one who is dedicated to following that, exploring the peace and harmony, respect and appreciation to everyone. So that is really the Buddha Dharma Sangha. And of course, you all know they are really about the Buddha Dharma Sangha, so I'm not going to talk too much. That this Buddha and the Dharma and the Sangha. And this Buddha is now, those is no difference between any Buddhism. We take refuge to the Dharma, Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. Everyone take that. There's no difference. Then in an inner level, according to Vajrayana teaching, then this Buddha Dharma Sangha is also named as Guru Deva Dakinis. Those are again in the teachings is the same different terminologies. Guru is like Buddha, deity or the yadams are like Dharma, and Dakini as Sangha member, or Dakini Dharma Palas Sangha members. Those are in the teachings, the inner level. And mostly secret level, then even, for example, Gurupema Sambhava representing representing all the 3 jewels, Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. For example, Gurupema Sambhava. The body of Gurupema Sambhava is Sangha. Speech of Gurupema Sambhava is Dharma. And the wisdom, mind or compassion is then the Buddha. Thank you. And similarly, Buddha Shakyamuni, same thing. Buddha, body of the Buddha is Sangha member, and his teachings are the Dharma, and his realization and fulfillment inward is Buddha. So that way, all within the one
status, Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, all in one single state. Therefore, always in the teaching said, when we will see the Ngorapema Sambhava as embodiment of all three jewels, all the Buddhas, and then also any other, those highly qualified teachers can be like as represented by the three jewels, all in one truth. And when we take this refuge, how long we keep this connection to the Buddha, Dharma, Sangha? Until we reach enlightenment, until we got the realizations. From now on, until we reach enlightenment. So that is really, and then of course there's many, that you do that according to Buddhism, you do that every day, once in yourself, in your own room or your own place, at least take refuge one time, that means 3 times, kind of thinking of that. I take refuge in the Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, in order to benefit for all living beings. This is kind of thinking of that. And those are known as then taking refuge. So this. So so these 3 jewels in the fable, and then Buddhas are the infallible, or the 3 jewels are infallible here, infallible source of refuges. Why it means? Because Buddha is total enlightened beings. That means, as you all know, is free from the ego clingings, free from the negative emotions, free from all the kind of like expectations. That Buddha's love, compassion, wisdom is free, open to all the living beings without any discriminations, without any judgments. And the Buddha's love is to all sentient beings. According to teaching, is all the beings the same, as mother loves to her own one child, as love her own one child. So this really love and compassion is equal. And the Buddha sees things, everything exactly as it is, both relative level and absolute level. Therefore, then Buddha is infallible, protector, and therefore we trust all the teachings are perfect, it based upon the non-violence, based upon the egolessness status, based upon the peace and harmonies, and it just equal to everyone. So therefore, then teaching Buddha is infallible source. And the Dharma is also his message of that is the message of the Buddha Shakyamuni or Buddhas. His teachings are based upon the non-violence and as well compassion, loving kindness for all the living beings. There is no discrimination between, regardless karma that we go through, but on the teaching and the nature is the same. Buddha gives the same teaching to everyone according to their desire, according to their capability, in order to lead this enlightenment. And the Sangha members who following that path and practice their courage and commitment and determinations, the source of our inspirations. Through Sangha members, we learn patience, we learn courage, we learn commitment, and we learn loving kindness, compassion, and the teaching. They're supporting to us, and we support to them. We support it to each other, moving along the path. They are long last our companions until we become the enlightenment. Therefore, with that understanding, then we trust this. So that is like what this. So when we practice this, again, as I said, we need 2. The first is the physical support, 18 endowments, and the second is then faith or the devotions. With that, we take refuge with faith. And then according to Mahayana, not just only faith, because with that we take refuge, but also we take
refuge with compassion too, thinking of all the sentient beings. Really, I like to help to everyone, but therefore I'm going to learn teaching and practicing. I'm going to make close connection to the Buddha Dharma Sanghas. So with that, then you take refuge. And then next one, so that is really about this sixth line. Seventh line is what? Now with having this and the what? And do not be mistaken about the result of the virtuous and unvirtuous actions. And this is now generally again when you take the refuge, when you follow the teaching, then we should have good, as I said earlier, or in the Buddha teaching often said the good ground of the conducts or the moralities. That is really very, very important. Good conduct, good morality, more with common sense, more sensibles, more thoughtful. Therefore, if we keep that, we are keeping quite good conduct, good morality lined up. And of how to do that? That is in the teaching said be mindfulness, alertness, and consciousness. Those three are the very best support, best teacher for our activities, actions. And here again, what in the teaching said here, do not, His Holiness Dudjom Rinpoche, virtuous and unvirtuous actions. So actually, this said, therefore we should not mistakenly kind of that we have to be careful. We should be careful or very thoughtful with our actions. This is also virtues and unvirtues, which can be named as positive or negatives. This positive, negatives, where is coming? It's not from outside again. It starts from our own mind. This positive and negative is also known as karma. And a larger name it is. Another name it is positive truths. Again, suffering truth, cause of suffering truth. This positive truth, what gracious teacher Buddha gave. So now, since we are following the path truth, we should know more clearly what is obstacle for our path truth. Path truth means we are following the path, we are advancing. And we undermine our path truth with our old habit patterns or our mundane habit pattern. Then even we are following the path truth, we are really completely kind of undermining, we diluting, we kind of like become falling to the ditch or the side. Therefore, we should always be very thoughtful with our actions. When we have a good thought, we're thoughtful with our actions. That is moralities. And when we have thoughtfuls, what is developed? It develops more common sense, more gentle, more peaceful, more calm, more really soothing to our heart and mind. And also that energy will help to your friend or our friend, our family member, to others too. It will reflect that. Therefore, how we started that? We have to start from our mind. Here said virtues and unvirtues. Of course, you all know this. What the great master, again, of course, is Buddha's teaching, but great master Nagarjuna said, what is virtues? Wisdom and detachment, compassion, those are virtues. Macha Madai Tamomi, or as translated, wisdom and detachment and compassion. That is positive. That is virtues. If we think the virtues or the positive good things, that is right with our heart, in our treasure. We have to pull or we have to reveal. We have to reveal. If we reveal the wisdom, wisdom is not just one piece. There is infinite wisdom in our treasure or our state of the mind of the infinite or the Buddha nature. It has infinite. When we reveal the detachment, it's not just one time and gone. You're revealing more. The threshold is beginning to overflowing. Really, as much as you open, that much is overcoming. As much as you start to be compassionate once, that much your compassion will grow. Loving kindness will come. All those beautiful abundance are really arising. When it arises in our heart, then what is going to all our system, our physical, our verbal, all those are transforming now into wisdom, detachment, and compassion, loving kindness activities. When that reflects externally, it's positive actions, good things, and that which is known as then in the Buddha teaching, good karma. Creating the good karma is following the path. A symbol, I will say, following the path. Path. You're reversing or we are uprooting our old habit pattern, which is suffering truth or cause of suffering truth. We are undermining, we are revealing that goodness. So that is what it is. Other hand, what is the negatives or unvirtues is the same. Is opposite of those three, what we discussed, and which is ignorance, attachment, and anger. Those are the unvirtues and the negatives. They are also another name. They are the cause of suffering truth. Why here, gracious teacher, Buddha used truth or suffering truths? Because when we go through these sufferings, it is really, even though it has nothing kind of solid source, but it feels truth. We go through those uncomfortable pains. Therefore, it is called suffering truths. Cause of suffering truth is also, there is no substantial existence in these emotions you can hold and say, oh, hi, this is anger, this is ignorance, this is wisdom. There is nothing that we can tell, but when it arises, that magic, that show, it really created them uncomfortable. Truly that we can see, nobody can ignore or deny. Therefore, it says truth. It is truth. It's happening. It's like, for that reason, many times in teaching mentioned, it's like kind of nightmare-like situation. Even there's no solid existing by our own mistakes, by our habit patterns. Truly, we are experiencing. We're going through that turbulence. So therefore, it said truth, suffering. It's the suffering truth, cause of suffering truths. Truth. So this, in order to avoid this, then here said, be thoughtful with actions. All actions, even as the smallest of the good things, shouldn't think, oh, it didn't mean, or it's not too much.
we should not think. In the teachings, even the smallest good activity with your good heart, reflecting with the love and the compassion and the wisdom, it is good. It is good. It will bring enormous results. Not just a result one time. In the teaching said, it has chain reactions. Really in the teachings. Same way, even in the smallest negative activities. Same thing, we shouldn't think, oh, that's okay, it's not a big deal. We shouldn't think that. We're thoughtful. Every action is that. Then we become ourselves more wise, more practical, more sensible. And that will create more harmony, more friendships. And then we can stay this life with happy, with joy and peace. And leave this world with happy and joy. Joy and some degree fulfillment if we have. Then wonderful. That all start with ourselves. It's not going to start from outside. As a gracious teacher, Buddha Shakyamuni said, I give you the teaching or I give you the skill and the method, but we have to put that in the actions. So therefore here, after when you take refuge in the Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, and with confidence and joy and compassion, then next one what? Is following the path is always thoughtful with our actions. Thoughtful our actions. And if we become a little more thoughtful with our actions and avoiding negative activities, we should be happy and joy. We should be acknowledged ourselves. Oh, I'm doing quite good. I did yesterday quite good, and I'm doing today also quite good, and have some degree of the commitment and attitude that I will do good tomorrow too. May that happen by the blessings of Buddha and the Dharma and the Sangha. Really thinking of that, kind of setting up our kind of that commitment and that goal, setting up. That is known as the practicing Dharma. We are practicing, not just a kind of take the refuge and then just drop things. We are advancing, we're building up the momentum. Then we really take off. So nice and beautiful, fully to benefit ourselves, to the others. And at the same time, if the activities, something happening, and immediately trying to acknowledge that, oh, something happened, something I did with your friend, with your family, or something that you just, if it catches by the mindfulness in that time, then excuse, forgive. Those are really good. Good, excuse, forgive. And some degree of the things, oh, I shouldn't do that. I'm not good. It's not good for me. It's not good for my family or others. I shouldn't do that. Shouldn't do that. Shouldn't that happen yesterday or last week? And I'm not going to today. And I will not do it tomorrow. May that also by the blessings of the Buddha and the Buddha Dharma Sangha, all the enlightened beings, I fulfill that goal. Kind of having those attention thought, creating a little bit on your own, our own agenda in a way, creating, that is practicing and that is also practical. Practical. Kind of with that, then good developing that. So, and the next one is again now, from now on, is following the path. So now, we're following the path is, next one is what here? His Holiness Dudjom Rinpoche said, this is full wealth of the Dharma or spiritual, full wealth of the spiritual. Those full wealth, and which is what? Wealth, W-E-A-L-T-H, wealth or the treasures, full treasures of the practitioners. This we should always have this wealth. Every time, really we should have. If we have this four, what listed here, along with all those teaching, what said, then our spiritual is become so rich. not kind of drying up. Many times, practice we do with excitement, joy, and appreciations. But then kind of time goes on, since we don't really kind of reactivating our abundances, then it's almost kind of getting fading away, become kind of like weaker and weaker and weaker, and then yes, it becomes almost kind of boring, and there's no kind of like any things happening. Why that happened? Because our wealth is going down. This wealth, this four wealth is going down, and therefore activated this four wealth. It's not this wealth is going to come from outside. It's like what they call stock market, all those things. It's not really going to come out. It is, we have to activate it ourselves. We have the right capabilities, right authority, right freedom, right thing to do. We have to reach. When we have this four wealth, our heart will be so rich. Even maybe externally there is some difficult troubles, but really I think we will stay quite happy in the joy. According to the teaching, according to those great masters or great practitioners who demonstrated that. And many times those great practitioners who had so difficult troubles, even they stay in some kind of like what's called this, accidentally or some wrong reason, they put so many kind of troubles to pressures to by the authorities, all that, but their heart is really full of hope, happy, and joy, and peace and loving kindness. Really is happening. So therefore, this four is so important, and all the practitioners, and since we all practitioners, and we like to keep our practice rich and strong and progress status, these four are really so important, and remember that. I think yes, His Holiness Dudjom Rinpoche said here. And those are what? Here say the first is devotion to the teacher or root teachers, and then love and affection toward the Samaya brother and sisters, second, and the third is bodhicitta of compassion toward all the mother sentient beings, and the fourth is the reduction of the grasping due to the knowledge that all component things are impermanent. These four are the treasures here. For that reason, here what His Holiness said, and are known as the four everlasting wealths of the practitioners, and should be regarded as indispensables. So those are the four treasures, and of course, generally you all know this. This is not new, but it's highlighting that. That's what we need. We highlight and activated, recognize and cherish with this four, and the devotions and affection, or the affection to the brothers and sisters of the Dharma or Sangha members, and then bodhicitta, all the beings, and then in understanding of the impermanent. Those are the four that generally we all heard and we know that. And so, but so now today I think that's it. That's my teaching. So I'm going to stop here, and then next time I'm going to continue this teaching as we did last time, and I will go over those things. And of course, you already know this, but you can read this meaning of those things in many books. It's translated now in English or many different languages, and you can read. And those are such as words of my perfect teachers, and then many great masters. They're really teachings. There's so many, and that is like Bodhi's great master Shanti Deva's teaching, Bodhisattva Charya Avatara, guide to the way in the lives of the Bodhisattvas. All those teachings are so wonderful and beautiful. There's many more, so you can learn and you can read and reverse. And thank you very much again, everyone, for your participations, and thank you. Now we do that healing practices. As I said, this healing practice is healing practice of all the difficult situations now, what we're going through, but as well as all the emotions and negativities. So really we do these practices and this healing practice, which is Orji Mela practices. Now this Orji Mela practices, if you have this booklet, page 1, you will open. This time we will chant one time 7-line prayers. And then just go to this teaching, okay? This practice.